In today's episode, I will talk about the path of least resistance. I will share my personal interpretation on what this is and what this isn't, when to turn to this path, and throughout the video, I'll offer some prompts for reflection or journaling. By the end of this video, you will have more clarity on what is your personal path of least resistance. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to my YouTube channel or my podcast. I'm your host and guide, Will Caminada, and I'm here to help you awaken, heal, and expand your consciousness. This channel and this podcast is all about offering you guidance and practical tools to support you on your journey of spiritual self-mastery. So if this is something you're interested in and my content resonates with you and your heart, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel or to my podcast on whatever platform you use, and also follow me on Instagram at GeetWill, where I post exclusive daily content that you won't find here. And just before we get into today's topic, I want to say that the next episode will be a guided meditation / visualization that will help you make decisions and follow the path of least resistance. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified. All right, so lately I've been really sitting with this question: what is the path of least resistance? Whenever I start thinking about the next steps, whether it's in my business or my relationships or my dreams and goals, but especially when I'm not clear as to which direction I should take. And so this is a practice for you too. Whenever you feel like you're unclear about which direction to take, if you're in two minds about something, or if you simply want to gain clarity over the next steps in any aspect of your life. So let me preface this by saying that before you even ask yourself this question, get in touch with your intuition, or if you prefer, your gut feeling. Get in touch with your body intelligence. If it feels like it's a big yes, then follow that. If it feels like it's a big no, then follow that too. If it feels like it's a maybe, if you're uncertain about it, then sit with it if you can, and keep asking this question: what is the path of least resistance? From moment to moment, without rushing or being annoyed if the clarity doesn't come straight away, which most likely it won't. Urgency, desperation, frustration will only blur your vision and keep you stuck in uncertainty. Staying in the present moment, asking the questions without attachment will open up the path and give you more clarity, even if it comes in small insights. I've heard from the teachings of Abraham Hicks, and Abraham is channeled through Esther Hicks, and they share lots of wisdom and knowledge in a very funny way. I go through phases where I listen to a lot of their Q&A workshops, and you can easily find them on YouTube if you've never heard of them and if you're interested in hearing them. They talk a lot about the law of attraction, and one of the things they say is the path of least resistance feels lighter, and it's the perfect alignment for you to manifest whatever you desire. I'm not going to go into the manifestation aspect of it, but I wanted to share my personal interpretation on how I understand the path of least resistance, as this has been on my mind for the past couple of weeks. And to show you what it is, I'll share what the path of least resistance is not. So here they are. Number one, the path of least resistance is not necessarily the easiest path. It can be, but that's not how you know that this is the path of least resistance. The easiest path doesn't necessarily feel like it's the most fulfilling, and it can be rooted in fear. So you have to assess it and ask yourself, do I want to take this path because it feels easy? Am I scared of taking another path because it feels difficult, overwhelming? Fill in the blank. Number two, the path of least resistance won't necessarily be the fastest path. Again, it can be, but that can be an influence from your ego. The ego wants things now, fast. There is always a sense of rush, but that's embedded in scarcity mindset. You might be thinking now, scarcity? Scarcity of what? Well, scarcity of time. And while we have no control of how much time we have left here on earth in this human experience, we do have the present moment, and that's how we build our future. You have to be honest with yourself and ask, am I making this decision because I feel like I don't have enough time? Is my ego wanting me to feel safe by making me feel like I have the future figured out? Am I really in danger if I don't make this decision or achieve this goal by X date? Number 3, the path of least resistance might not be the most logical. This one is probably the hardest to understand, and I'm not saying logic is useless, absolutely not, but it's just part of the equation and you will need it in specific moments. When you're sitting with the question, what is the path of least resistance for me? There may be a scenario that pops up in your consciousness that you hadn't thought of before. And maybe for the ego, this scenario, this possibility will just be illogical. It won't make sense. But instead of just ditching the idea because it doesn't make sense, I encourage you to explore this new idea, to be curious, to invite in more possible scenarios from this particular illogical idea. Most times what feels right in your heart and in your soul may not be logical for the mind. But if you stick to what feels right, your mind will catch up eventually. So a few questions that can help you make sense of what doesn't make sense are, am I resisting this idea because my mind can't comprehend how this is going to work out? What is it that I'm actually resisting here? Can I sit with this idea in my heart for a while and surrender to a path that's unknown to my mind? Number 4, the path of least resistance may not be the most certain. That can be really difficult for the ego again because it wants to control things, and when we're led by the mind only, we want to have a sense of certainty and control. Certainty in this case is not the belief that things will go right. This is trust and faith, and this is good. So there is a high level of trust and surrender that this path requires of us. And I'm sure you've heard this before, that we must believe it to see it and not the other way around. So even though this path may be the least certain, it may be the path of least resistance, because what you resist persists. And in order to move forward, we need to let go and trust. So ask yourself, what does it take for me to trust my heart? Do I really need to see the whole staircase? Can I just trust that the next step will be shown and that's all I need right now? Number 5, the path of least resistance may not be the most rewarding. This one is also one that you didn't want to hear. Again, it could turn out to be the most rewarding in the way you perceived the reward initially, but it could be rewarding in a way that you didn't anticipate. What do I mean by that? Well, you might be thinking that your reward would be more money in the bank, but maybe taking the path of least resistance may not give you as much money in the bank that you thought, but it will give you abundance in other areas of your life, like more time with your family, more peace in your heart, mental health, you name it. And I'm not even implying that you don't deserve all at once, because you do. And I'm not saying that you have to compromise one thing to get something else. Again, I'm just trying to show you that oftentimes we are led by the ego that thinks it knows what's right for us. And when you take the path of least resistance, you let go of these ideas and you surrender to even more possibilities that you couldn't think of before. So you can ask yourself, am I limiting myself by thinking this is the outcome that I need? What is the feeling that I'm looking for underneath all this? And this is the key of all that I'm talking about. The path of least resistance feels lighter, feels right, feels juicy, feels exciting. Your mind doesn't feel anything. It helps you to get from A to B. And like I said, it is necessary at specific moments of your journey. For example, when you know what feels right and you want to take action to what feels aligned with your heart and soul. And a great way to explore these possibilities, to explore what feels right in your heart, and to access this inner divine guidance that is available for all of us, is to practice visualization. So in the next episode, I'm going to guide you into a visualization that will help you gain more clarity on your journey, and it will be available for you anytime for as many times as you need. So make sure you are subscribed, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you can turn that notification bell on. For now, I'd love to know in the comments how this episode resonated with you. Also, please share this episode with that one friend who might be in two minds about something and who will benefit from this teaching and practice. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at GeetWill. I'm also on the app Insight Timer. You can find me under my name, Will Caminada. As always, keep shining your light, keep your heart open, and let love lead the way. I love you. See you in the next episode.